just thought I should show what I eat sometimes here in Japan. Tastes like 180 calories. Alright, I just feel like making a video today. So here we are. I will show my Linux rice for today. As you can see by this topics window or file, I've put more effort into organizing this video than the previous one. So hopefully I can reach more people, but probably not. Anyways, I'd like to think that my Linux rice is pretty minimal but functional. I mean, it's built for my workflow like everyone else's rice. My Dotfiles will be linked in the description below. If you're wondering, yes, I actually don't use GitHub as my main version control. This is Gitea, self-hosted. GitHub is more like, I don't know how to describe it. It's more like a backup slash public repository place for me because like potential employers prefer to look at GitHub. But yeah, all I do is send a mirror to GitHub from my Gitea. So Gitea is my main source of truth. I think I moved away from GitHub like starting back in January 2026 this year. It's been pretty smooth so far. Anyways, yeah, I've been using Linux for 6 to 7 years at this point. Started off with Ubuntu, then Manjaro, then Arch. All of those three in probably of a span of a year. Then I stuck with Arch ever since then. As you can see, I had X11 here. At the start, I had BSPWM for the longest time. I think Manjaro, I was still using like KDE or something, but since moving to Arch, I just started out with BSPWM. Had that for like 4 to 5 years or something. And then I moved to hyprland for very briefly, like a few months. It was after like the hype kind of died down and I just wanted to give it a shot. It was pretty good. Like the way you configure it is pretty organized, I would say. And it already has like an ecosystem, right? It has like hyperidle and like all these other hyper plugins for it at this point. Yeah, I guess we could show like a fast fetch really quick. So yeah. I'm using Linux LTS kernel. I think this was because way back then, like I was using an Asus ZenBook laptop and the Linux kernel version update broke something. I cannot remember, but yeah, I moved to LTS kernel version and it fixed it for that period. And then since then, I just haven't moved back. I know it's kind of contradictory to use LTS on Arch, but I don't know. That's just how I roll, I guess. A little lazy to switch back. Yeah, using Mango. Mango is pretty new. It's Wayland, just like hyprland. Although it has X Wayland compatibility as well. I'm not too sure if hyprland has that currently. But yeah, anyways, this is Mango. I think they recently updated their documentation page. It's more cleaner, I guess. So why Mango? I don't know. I just wanted something more lightweight. So I gave it a shot just one day. And yeah, a lot of things just work out of the box. I felt like the config was, the way you configure it is pretty easy. Yeah, I'll probably go over my Mango settings last, but just a quick rundown on why I chose this over hyprland, I guess, is that one of the primary features is that I can switch layouts on the fly. As you can see here, there's like a bunch of layouts that you can select from. We have the tile here, right? As you can see with like 4 panels, tile will always have the new window being like the largest. It'll take up like half of the screen. I use this one the most probably. And the other layout that I might use sometimes is TG Mix. I think this is kind of new-ish. I can't remember when it was added in, but this is more like your traditional i3 or BSPWM layout system, I think. But yeah, the other layout that I might use is a scroller. And you can kind of essentially just scroll. I mean, I can kind of show this, like, let me just build 2 more. So this is tile, right? Then we have TG Mix, and then we have scroller. Right, scroll, like you can, you know, push your mouse like a little bit to the side and it'll kind of scroll, right? You could also just move it normally with like a keybind as well. That's like Mango's main feature that I really like, where I can essentially just switch layouts. If I have like a bunch of code, 2 panels of code that I need to look at, and then I also need like a browser as well, then, you know, maybe grid might be better. So then I'll switch to grid. And now I have more space to like see code and stuff and like navigate through it. Scroller is like, you know, if I need the whole screen to look at, like especially like a browser, then I'll just like toggle scroller to like look at it easier. And, you know, I could just go back to my typical tile layout easily with a keybind. Going back to my fast fetch, my terminal is Ghostty. I used to use Kitty, and then I don't know. I've watched a few interviews with Mitchell and just thought he was a cool guy. And just started using Ghostty since then. Haven't had much issues. I see like on Twitter like people talking about memory issues, but I feel like it might be like because they're using something heavy within the terminal. So it's really not the terminal's fault. But yeah, haven't had much issues with Ghostty so far. And I do like the way you configure it. It's a lot more minimal than Kitty. Kitty kind of has like this huge configuration file, whereas Ghostty is pretty minimal. You see my Ghostty config, maybe, or I don't have, yeah, Ghostty, here it is. This one here, yeah, it's just like this small config that I have. And if you're wondering, like my terminal was this prompt string, is that what we call it? PS1. Yeah, this is a part of the rice, I guess, and it's styled by Starship. Let's see. Yeah, it's just styled by Starship. I've had this Starship config for like ever. Starship. Yeah, I don't know. I've just had this config for quite a while. I think I tried to do something with like languages like recently, but haven't really touched it that much, honestly. But yeah, let's get to the core of my rice, which is I have like 5 custom Rofi launchers. Or I guess the app launcher is pretty standard, but the other 4 are pretty custom. So yeah, Rofi is you know, as much as I like Rofi, I'd also like some recommendations if there are anything better. Honestly, like configuring Rofi is really a pain, and I don't really like to modify Rofi configs that much. So maybe like if something was in Quick Shell, I think I'd be happy to hop on board. If anyone's listening, just let me know in the comments if you guys have any suggestions. Oh yeah, Rofi, I think everyone knows about Rofi. Everyone that's probably watching this and that's interested in racing probably knows about Rofi. Yeah, Rofi is not only an app launcher, you can also like have custom selections within Rofi. So that's why I've built 4 other custom ones. I can just show it off here really quick, where it's like, here's my configs, it's my settings, like system settings. This is my help system, you know, obviously the app launcher. And lastly, it's just my power manager. And yeah, I do have like a custom image, I do have like a custom image rotation system. So as you can see, like here, the images are rotating, right? But yeah, don't ask me to provide these images. They're personal use only. I don't really want to distribute art that's not really mine. So just again, you know, here's the app launcher, pretty standard app launcher. It does look a little bit riced out because I spent some time handcrafting these launchers. This is my config launcher where I can just quickly access any configuration file easily instead of like, you know, typing vim root config, you know, and then blah, blah, blah. I just open like this config launcher and then, you know, be like, I want to look at my neovim config, and here it is. I can now search through it easily. Like if I want to change my key maps, you know, go to key maps and I can do whatever I want here. Then next, have my system settings, primarily just, you know, GUIs for Bluetooth, sound, wallpaper. I use Blueman for Bluetooth. So yeah, it's just stuff like that, easy access to system settings. And I have a helper system, right? These are like help for keybinds. So like sometimes I forget, like, you know, my system keybinds. Like how do I screenshot? I'll look it up here. Super Alt P is my screenshot region. And then Super Alt Control P is, it'll let me select which screen to screenshot from. That's my help system. I can pretty much scroll through this and see all my keybinds. This is manually updated through like a text file. So it also shows like, you know, what my apps are. So like sometimes I forget like what I use to open like images and stuff. I'll be like, you know, image, and I can see that this is MPV is my image and video viewer. Stuff like that. So it's pretty useful. Yeah, and then lastly, my power management launcher is just, you know, your standard sleep, reboot, shutdown lock. I guess while we're here, I can show my lock screen. This is my lock screen here. It's pretty new. Look at my topics here. Yeah, this is Qylock. I used to use like i3 lock, but I recently switched after seeing something on Twitter about Qylock. It uses quick shell, so that's why I think it looks pretty nice. You know, quick shell is pretty easy to modify, it seems. Yeah, that's my lock screen. Yeah, so next is Waybar, my status bar up here. It's pretty simple, I feel. It's, you know, my workspace is here and calendar here, time and calendar here. Yeah, I haven't really touched the Waybar config that much after making it, but honestly, if anyone has like a suggestion for a better status bar, because it's kind of limited in terms of customization, I feel like there's just a more efficient system out there somewhere. But yeah, if anyone has like suggestion for a better status bar, maybe one like in like quick shell, yeah, please let me know in the comments. I have Bluetooth, sound, Wi-Fi, and this is like a UDisky mount. Or this is like an auto USB mount system where it just detects like whatever USB drives you stick into your computer. Once you stick it in, then I can click on this button and then it'll open Thunar to that mount area where I can like look through the USB drive and stuff. I think I showed Bluetooth before. This is a Blueman using Blueman GUI. This is Pavu, yeah, Pavu control. And then my Wi-Fi is, yeah, sorry for blinding you guys, but like this just spawns like a Ghostty terminal with an M2E. This is what you use to set up Wi-Fi on Arch Linux, like when you install Arch Linux for the first time. So I just haven't moved off of it. Like I haven't found the need to move off of it. It just works. So W displays is like a quick, let's see, display. This is just like a quick GUI if I need to like change something about my displays on the fly. I haven't really used it that much, honestly. Primarily use Kanshi for my, it's like a display manager that's automatic after you set like a profile and stuff. So it's like super simple to use once you get it. It's primarily just a set and forget thing. As you can see like here in the README, it's just a small configuration file with just profiles. Whenever the computer detects a set of outputs, it'll automatically switch to that profile. So I can kind of show it to you here. So right now I just have like a single laptop profile, which is if I have nothing plugged in, it'll just default to this. I have a profile for home where if I plug in my external monitor, which is my wide monitor here, it'll detect this and then also detect my laptop. So it'll go to this profile automatically. But yeah, it just automatically detects monitors and it just works. All you do is run it as a daemon at the start. But yeah, that's my monitor situation. I guess we can move on to like utilities. Screenshotting, I use Sati. Yeah, Sati for the GUI for the screenshot. Like, yeah, I can demo it here where it's like, I can take like a region and it'll pop up this application here is Sati. And here I can like mark stuff, right? Just draw on it and like copy it to clipboard or save it as a specific file name. And the underlying screenshot system is Grim. This executable is essentially, it just like takes a screenshot of your screen and then, you know, that pipes to Sati. I can show like well, it's actually a script. I use a script to like manage everything. And then the whole region, like as you can see, I'm like selecting a region. That's using Slurp. I swear to God, these are like the official names. It sounds really silly, but like Slurp and Grim. But yeah, Slurp it helps with selecting a region on the Wayland compositor. So my other utility tool is screen recording. I guess WL stands for Wayland. Wayland Screen Rec, and this just helps with screen recording here. So like I just I execute it once. You can see the notifications. I need to press the same keybind again to like stop it. So now it saves the videos, right? Let's see. Go to videos, open Thunar. Which one is it? Might be at the bottom. I think it's here. So yeah, you can see here. This is just what I took just right now. Next, I guess, is my Japanese keyboard. So I live in Japan and sometimes I need to like type in Japanese, right? So I have this keyboard switcher that lets me like, you know, type in Japanese here, right? And what I use for that is called FCITX. I don't know how to pronounce it, honestly. It's kind of weird, kind of a weird name, but yeah, I found this on ArchWiki when I was looking for how people switch keyboards, and this came up. It's pretty easy to set up. It looks like this. And you just, set up English, and then Anthi is Japanese. Next is my file explorer. I use Thunar, and it has a custom CSS file that kind of stylizes it. I think as you saw before here, you can see here that like I have thumbnails as well. The thumbnails is using Tumblr. I think Thunar is pretty popular. I think everyone knows what it is. Next is my notifications. I think you saw before here, like see like I take a screenshot and I copy the clipboard, and here's like a notification that pops up. This notification system just uses the default notify send binary to utilize it. That's my notifications. Honestly, this is also another piece of my rice where like I'm not too fond of editing this configuration file because it's like pretty restrictive when I try to like style it to like how I want it to be styled. So honestly, if any I keep saying this a lot, but like if anyone has any suggestions, definitely let me know. Yeah, Waypaper. So it uses the backend. I use the backend AWWW. I think it used to be like SWWW, but for some reason they switched it to A. I don't know why, but Waypaper. This is a way to like easily switch out. So like I can select my specific screen here, DP2, and like change, looks like this, right? Change it back. But yeah, my entire like Arch install is kind of documented here in my Dotfiles already. I have this thing called Mango install, this file, and it kind of just documents like what I installed, and I have some notes about like what things do. Feel free to take a look through it if you want to like copy it, do whatever you want. Let's just go through my Mango window manager configs, I guess. Let's see, AutoStart. Let's make this also bigger. I think the primary configurations would be AutoStart and keybinds. Like I have rules and stuff as well, and like environment variables, but I think some of these are pretty standard. This is also like within the quick start guide, I think, somewhere like configuration probably. My AutoStart is pretty simple, I think. I think the primary stuff is just, my wallpaper backend. And then I have this script. All my scripts are like in the local bin folder. And that way I can like, kind of just execute it easily here, right? Yeah, this just inits my like specific wallpapers for specific monitors, essentially, the script here. But yeah, this stuff is like pretty default. I think this is like recommended from the Mango docs, all these stuff. This is my Japanese keyboard daemon thing. And then this is my monitor. Like Kanshi is if you remember, Kanshi is the monitor profiles. Yeah, that's my AutoStart configuration. It's pretty simple. This is also why I like Mango a lot. It's really minimal. But yeah, go to Keybindings. As you can see, I have all my Rofi launchers here. Don't mind. I know it's like not ergonomic, like my keybinds, but it's just what I'm used to. So yeah, this is my screenshot system and Screencapture. This is like some standard keybinds for my framework FN keys. The only other non-default thing I have is like this script down here. And what this does is that essentially if I hit this bind here, it's going to move all windows from my active screen. So say like I'm on this screen right now and I have two monitors, right? If I hit this keybind, all of the windows from all workspaces on here is going to go onto my laptop. So this moves everything. And then this bind here moves just a single window, monitor to monitor. And currently the script only handles like two monitors. So it's essentially just like going back and forth between the two monitors, like any two monitors essentially. So I haven't really extended it to like be able to handle more than two monitors. So yeah, don't use this if you have like 3 monitors or more. This is primarily just for 2 monitors. Everything else is pretty standard. But yeah, that's Mango. I've had a lot of good experiences with Mango so far, and I feel like it's more lightweight than Hyprland, although I haven't really like touched Hyprland in a while, so I don't know if it's like, I don't know which one's better. So yeah, everyone has their preferences. If you like Hyprland, that's also cool. I'm not really here to say which is better. But yeah, that was just me showing off my next machine today. Maybe the next video would just be me, I don't know, talking about something.